Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're working on a 2004 Honda 600RR. So we let this motorcycle sit for about 2-3 months or so, without turning it on. First of all, I don't recommend that. It's probably not a good idea. Make sure you turn it on every other week. Just lack of use, whatever. Sat for a while, and we think that may have been part of the problem, but let me give you a little overview of what we're doing. First of all, this bike is cranking, but not starting. So what we've done up until now is made sure there's coolant inside of your reservoir and inside your radiator. A good way to check that is, you should be at least halfway full, right, your radiator. So, you could take this off, make sure you got fluid through there. You add it through here. This is going to be your reservoir down there. What else have we done up until now? We have changed the spark plugs. The spark plugs are actually right here. Right in between your radiator and... Okay, so there's your spark plugs. I think you got 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The other thing you want to make sure you have is, after sitting for 2 months, your fuel may be old, may have some crap in there. We decided to go ahead and drain that old fuel and put new fuel in. That's another thing we did. Oh, and we actually did have a burnt fuse right here on our battery, which caused no spark at all. So this is going to be your battery fuse right here. You pull this off by with a flathead with you take both these sides off. You got I think it's like 25 amp fuse. What else on these bikes? I think that's about it. I think there might be a fuse back here as well. So yeah, you check those 2 fuses. Another thing we did was check your fuses right up here. Let's see, what do we got here? We got your light turn horn, you got your starter, which would be a big one. Make sure you got that one checked. Check them all here. Those were all good. Had a little problem there. That's fairly burnt right there, but we managed to find out that we still have some spark to that, so we went ahead and added some dielectric grease. And this is also on the left side of the motorcycle here. What else have we done up until now? Make sure your battery is good. Our battery is actually bad, so we have to connect a battery charger, whatever, to it to have it start up. So yeah, make sure your battery is good, or else connect it to some type of battery charger, whatever. Another thing, make sure your key's on the on position, whatever. So on, right, and make sure your button's on the start position. That's your stop. That's your start. Okay, so yeah, make sure you have fuel. That's a big one. It's one of the more obvious ones, but it's definitely one of the more common ones, especially after letting it sit for a while. Make sure your fuel is clean, not old, a couple months old. That may make the difference in some bikes. The reason I mentioned the coolant as well is because one time, or regular vehicles, not necessarily motorcycles, but if you don't have enough coolant, you will not get the vehicle to start because of, overheating. Obvious problems. It will overheat if it doesn't have any coolant, so it doesn't start. Therefore, make sure you have coolant. Oil, and that's another thing. If some vehicles, I know my 2014 Taurus, they had mentioned that if it didn't have any oil, it would also not start as having a bit of an issue, but that wasn't the issue at the time. So yeah, make sure you have oil. Check your oil. If you think it needs a little bit, add. Your reservoir should be right there. So make sure you have oil there. Let's see, what else have we looked up until now? So as of right now, the motorcycle is still cranking but not starting, but I'm going to give you my final detail, and this is going to be your basic stuff, okay, that we're not checking any wires yet or anything like that. So that, you know, this is going to be your basic. So, you know, it'd be a good idea to change old spark plugs. That will prevent it from starting as well. So you got your new fuel, spark plugs, check your oil, check your coolant, those two fuses behind the battery that I showed you. Those are really important. What else do we got here? Your fuses on your left side. Okay, so your fuses here, make sure you're checking all those. And finally, what we think is the problem. We're actually in the process of purchasing those right now. Someone's headed over to the parts store so we can see where we can find them. So this is on your left side of your bike, okay? You have these relays, and we were looking up several diagrams and specs on the bike, and we managed to find out that you know, these are, from what I understand, you know, whoever the hell did that, that's pretty sketchy stuff right there, but it seems like it's working as of right now. So this one was fairly well, looks exactly like this. Okay, so you should have 1, 2, 3 maybe, I don't know, and every bike is different. So on this connection here, it had same thing. Well, let me see if I can get it better. Like I said, this is what all three of those should be looking like. This one kind of a sketchy maneuver there, but it works. But yeah, this one, this relay, I believe it's a relay, had it, see this piece right there where you see the rust, that was actually completely gone, and it should not be. So it'd be a good idea to check those. So I'll give you, once we get the new one, I'll let you know if that was the problem, but that's my kind of last go-to on your cranking but not starting. But if that works, that's going to be the final problem to fix. So I'll give you an update once. Alright guys, so the part came in, that relay that I was telling you about that we were waiting on. So as you can see, we got the bike back together, which is good news for the most part. So those 3 relays that I had mentioned over on the left fairing that were right in here, I had mentioned that someone had done a little bit of some wiring that wasn't appropriate there, but it managed to work. And then there was another relay, the one that was burnt out, oxidized, in really bad shape, and there was a third one that was in good condition. Let me see if I can get, nope, not gonna be able to see it. Regardless, just scroll back to the earlier parts of the video, and guys, that was it. The bike turns on, it runs great. It was just that relay. We went through a little troubleshooting to get to where we were at, but we finally figured it out. So yeah, check those things that I mentioned, and thanks. So be sure you go through those steps that I had mentioned. The newer fuel, if it's been sitting for a while, would be one thing to change. Spark plug is definitely one thing to change. Those were maybe not necessary on the bike, but maybe needed it at one point in time. So those relays was the problem. Check those relays, take them apart, look at them, make sure they're in good condition. Ours was actually, one little prong was completely gone from it being rusted out so bad. So if this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, please like and subscribe to my video.